Good morning, students. So we will continue the revision of the chapter from the civics section, and the title of the chapter is federalism. We were talking about that how the federalism is used to practice in India. So we have discussed that after the independence, how the nation states form on the basis of the language. So these are the various ways that how we practice the federalism in India, and on the series the second is language policy. So second, that's how the federalism, we were discussing about this heading, how the federalism is practiced in India. Okay, so we will discuss first the linguistic states. We have discussed about it. Second, we are going to talk about language policy. Language policy is how after the independence, how India decided that they will continue the idea of federalism to run the democratic nation, means India. That what is the second way to practice the federalism in India? That is all about language policy. That which language is to be given the status of national language and why, and what are the, you can say, challenges when they decided that they give the freedom also that the state governments can also free that they can use any particular language as an official language. As in Uttarakhand, there are two official languages, Hindi and Sanskrit. Are you getting my point? So it was given the right to the state government that they can decide that whom they will give the status of the official language, and so such type of thing is also matter of issue in some state, but how they have sorted out after a discussion, because they want to continue the idea of federalism. Federalism means that they want that there should be the main two organ of the power sharing, that is central government and the state government, and both should be independent in some matters. We have studied it, so you have to keep this in your mind that if we are saying that how federalism is practiced in India, so please remember that what is all about the federalism. It doesn't mean that you are studying the next point and you are forgetting the previous, because subject is related to the next heading. So when we say language policy, so you can see that a second test for the Indian federalism is all about the language policy. That which language will be decided in India, that we will give the status of national language, whom we will recognize as a dialect, whom we will recognize as a official language. So this was also very important. Our constitution, remember, our Indian constitution didn't give any, didn't give the status of national language to any one language. This is the beauty of our constitution. The constitution always follow the idea of equality. So in Indian constitution, which is supreme, here not a single article is all about where you can find that what is written in our Indian constitution, that which language should be national language for country. Because we believe in secularism, we believe that diversity. So if in our Indian constitution, if the constitutional maker decided to give one language the status of national language, maybe it will be the matter of dispute and conflict. Getting my point? That's why the constitution was written in a very beautiful manner, that every article, every section has full of the feeling of equality. So that's why that is clear that it is not written in our Indian constitution that which language should be given the national language status. Yet Hindi was identified as the official languages, but Hindi is the mother tongue of only about 40% of Indians. Okay. In India, Hindi given the status of official languages. Yes, because here moreover the Hindi speaker is in more strength. Pure Hindi if we talk about. Okay. Then some speaks Urdu, some speaks you can say English, some speak the other languages also, because India is a secular country and India is a diverse country. Okay. In West Bengal there are the Mohammedans, but they speak Bengali very good. Getting my point? So in this manner that India is having so much of diversity in terms of culture. Okay? That's why the language is also very different, very diverse. So in India, Hindi is used as the official language, but in India only 40% people used to speak Hindi. So on the basis of majority also we cannot give the status of Hindi as a, you can say, recognized language as a national level. Therefore, there were many safeguards to protect other languages besides Hindi. That's why that although in India Hindi is used as an official language. Okay, but again, and it is also in Uttarakhand also Hindi is used as an official language plus Sanskrit. Okay, but still that in India only 40% people who used to speak Hindi. So, and we are talking about 100%. It means 60%. The remaining 60% belong to the different languages. But then again, they are different in terms of their language. So majority again किसकी हो जाती है? Purely 40% ही हो जाती है. Getting my point? Again then, so what that we have to continue the spirit of constitution also. That there is not given any status to a language which is known as a national language. We have to keep this thing in our mind also as a democratic nation. So what we have decided, therefore the other language besides Hindi, there are 21 other languages recognized as the scheduled languages by the constitution. So in our constitution 21 languages recognized as a scheduled languages. And it has written where? In our Indian constitution. They have given the status of scheduled languages to the 21 languages. Okay? There are 21 languages which are recognized as the scheduled languages in our Indian constitution. Now, a candidate languages by the constitution. Okay, a candidate is an examination conducted for the central government. Now, important. Understand? A candidate is an examination. In an examination conducted for the central government position may opt to take examination in any of these languages. 21 languages. Have you seen? Now where you have seen? There are the board pattern also and the languages also. Same high school examination all over the India. In CBSE, they are having a variety of languages. In Urdu also, students are passing all the same syllabus in their Urdu languages. Yeah, SST. Yeah, Urdu. Because of this constitutional way, 21 scheduled languages are there. And it has written that a candidate is in examination who is appearing for the central government post. You know that there are so many ways. If we say Indian Railway, it is a central government post. Railway is a department in all the other departments. Although there is a big difference between the salary of a central government post and the state government post. You can understand it easily that whatever post which is arranged by the central government, their pay scale is very high. And among them, the railway is a department where there is so much of scope to earn good salary. This board is already having so much of scope. So I want to clarify that here is the role of language. Okay? A candidate who is appearing in the central government examination, he or she wants to clear any central government organized examination, he can opt among 21 languages to clarify the written examination, and he can pass if he is eligible. Maybe he belongs to the Mohammedan culture, he is allowed to give his written examination in subject, how many 21 languages included. So here that how the language policy should be favored in the federalism system. This is the basic idea for the language, that they are free, they can opt for as far as the central government post. Okay, then much of the government work takes place in the official language of the concerned state. Yes, and then states too have their own official languages. Yes, how many states in India? They are free to assume any language as a, or to take any language as their official purposes languages. Okay, they are free. They can opt here because federalism. These are the cases where central and the state both are independent bodies. So even in the other states, they can be having their own priority at which language they will give the status of official languages. Okay, they are free. Now, much of the government work takes place in the official languages of the concerned state. When I am saying that official language, whatever work, written work will be held, all the government offices in Uttarakhand, it will be in Hindi and the Sanskrit. Understood? So, in all the other states, whatever government work in the various departments, government is having all departments, railway and PWD, water department, electricity department, municipality department, so many departments. So, all the work will be in Hindi. It is decided by the Uttarakhand government. Okay? And the Sanskrit also. Unlike now, we are taking the example. So, you understood that how the constitution has given the importance to the scheduled languages. That the students are free. You can see so many news channels who belong to a different state. So, they give anchors speak in Bengali. Yes or no? And they are very intelligent. They have adopted their own language to make their career. Getting, because it is, I think it is more easy for them. That's all. And anyhow, we can, this is the way that here we can preserve our cultural heritage also. Yes or no? And it doesn't mean that they don't know how to speak in English. But as far as the career point of view, when we say we have to make our career, so we have to opt that language where we are so good. Because then our chances to clarify any examination is more. Getting my point? Language is a long-term process. If we take the example of English, so we belong to India. Okay, so we have to give lots of practice to be perfect in English. While at the other hand, by birth we know the Hindi. We don't know to practice Hindi, but we should learn more and more Hindi if we are the students of literature. That is quite true. But it will be very convenient for us that to clarify any examination in the same language which we used to speak. Yes or no? So this is the way that the Indian Constitution has given the priority as scheduled languages to the 21 languages in India. Okay? Now, we are taking the example. Unlike Sri Lanka, the leader of our country adopted a very cautious attitude in spreading the use of Hindi. According to the Constitution, the use of English for official purposes was to stop in 1965. When in India, the use of English was stopped for the official purposes in 1960, and when India got freedom 1947. Now you can reduce the 1965 and reduce 1947. How many years after the independence there was a continuous working of official work in English? Minus 65 minus 47. 65 minus 47. Huh? 18. After the independence, 1947, till 18 years, there was a regular use of English as an official language in India. Okay, but seems very easy, but it is not easy. It needs more and more reading. It involves more and more reading of books. Only then the purity of language, accuracy in language we can achieve. Yes, this is the second step. It doesn't mean that you know everything in Hindi, sorry. But as far as the understanding point, okay, level of Hindi is also requires so much of efforts. Remember my point. Okay, it is not so that you are getting 100 out of 100 in Hindi. Hindi is so many mistakes, grammatical mistakes you used to do. You don't know how to use the punctuation marks even in Hindi. Yeah, but don't take it very light manner that if I am speaking Hindi, no, you can achieve everything just because of your whatever Hindi you are scoring here. No, language requires so much of efforts. Any type of language. Okay, so what I want to say that in 1965 it has decided in India that now no official work will be done in the English language. What you are studying? You are studying that how the language policy is used to continue the spirit of federalism in India. Remember the main heading that what you are studying, so that you will remember that at least what we are studying and what is all about the lecture and how it will ask in the examination and what you will write. So remember that where we have started the heading. Now yes. So what had happened? However, many non-Hindi speaking states demanded that the use of English continue. Yes, it is obvious that when Hindi is adopted in India also, that and some states also, that we will give the status of official language to Hindi. So in especially the southern part of India, they are very good in English. Southern part even today. So and it is not only the matter of today, from the ancient time also. So the states which is not having so much Hindi speaker, so they opposed that this policy shouldn't be applied in our own state, because here English speaker is more than Hindi speaker. Getting my point? Yes, they know their own languages or dialect and then English. Their main communication medium in the southern part of India is English. Bangalore, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala. Okay, they speak very good English. Yes. So they were not happy. So what they have, however, many non-Hindi speaking states demanded that the use of English continue in Tamil Nadu. Now you are adding the example also. That in Tamil Nadu, this movement took a violent form, where the people are not agreeing that they will not stop the use of English as an official language. So the central government responded by agreeing to continue the use of English along with the Hindi for official purposes. So these are the things where we avoid the conflict. Okay, these are the strategies that how the constitution or the remedies are adopted by the ministers or the political figure, that how they can come up with the idea where there will be not so much of, you can say, conflict and the violent, because the issue became violent in Tamil Nadu when they were not ready to leave English as a use of official language. So what the final decision was taken, that okay, English they will continue plus as well as Hindi also. Okay, getting my point. So both languages are used as a means of official purposes. Getting my point. So who are comfortable in English, they used to do work. Who are comfortable in Hindi, they are using Hindi. But just think, it means you have to be good enough in both languages. That's how you also be very good in Hindi as well as in English. Because English is no international language. That's now. Many cities think this solution favored the English-speaking elite. Now, many cities of Tamil Nadu thought that here we are just discriminating or just giving the favor to the English elite people, that now they want to continue English as an official language, so it is continued. But at the same time, they have given the Hindi also as a official purposes in the Tamil Nadu. Okay. So it was not so. It was that they have come up with the idea where they can satisfy both type of people in Tamil Nadu. Now, promotion of Hindi continues to policy of the government in India. Promotion does not mean that central government can impose Hindi on states where people speak a different language. Yes, the flexibility shown by Indian political leaders helped our country avoid the kind of situation that Sri Lanka finds itself in. Yes, they have written that although some people thought that in Tamil Nadu they are favoring the elite people, okay, but it was not so. They just want to stop the conflict among the people in Tamil Nadu. That's why they have given both Hindi and English as an official language, and at the same time that they were not, the central government was not imposing any law to any states that they have to favor Hindi and they have to use Hindi as an official language. No, they are free. It is not so that they have to give the priority to the Hindi as an official language, because they also want to continue the spirit of federalism. So these are the way that how the federalism practiced in India or Indian democracy. Okay, so you have to give the example also of Tamil Nadu. They don't want that there will be the situation of just like Sri Lanka, Sinhala and what are the other language? Sinhala and French speaker. So they just want to avoid this situation. That's why they have given both language as a equal status in Tamil Nadu. And at the same time, they have given the freedom to all states of India, central government I am talking about, that they can use any language according to their comfort, that they can they are free to use any language as an official purposes languages. So here we are supporting the idea of federalism. Yes or no? Yes. Now the third is center-state relations. Again federalism. Federalism is all about the center-state relation. That how they are independent, how they are powerful regarding their own particular arena and this particular subjects. Yes. The third, it is very important to discuss that how federalism practiced in Indian perspective with the help of center-state relation. What is all about? Okay. Now, restructuring, the third we are talking about center-state. Now, center-state relation, that restructuring the center-state relation is one more way in which federalism has been strengthened in the practice. How the constitutional arrangements for sharing power work in reality depends to a large extent on how the ruling party and leader follow the arrangement. For a long time, the same party ruled both at the center and in most of the states. This means that the state's government did not exercise their rights as autonomous federal units. And when the ruling party at the state level was different, the party that ruled at the center tried to undermine the power of the states. In those days, the central government would often misuse the constitution to dismiss the state government that were controlled by rival parties. This undermined the spirit of federalism. Now they have given the situation that what had happened, beta, as you can see at present time. In center, we are having BJP. In Uttarakhand, we are having the same BJP candidate as a chief minister. So, they have given the situation that we are using that how federalism is practiced in Indian perspective, in Indian politics, that it happens that if at center level, we are having a different political party, and in the state level, we are having the different political party. As it happens that in center there is Congress, at state we are having BJP. So many times central level government misuse its power and they just, you can say, work as an autocratic rule, and they never give the freedom to the state political party. Okay, if the both parties belong to different background political parties, but if, and it happens that if the same political party is ruling with the states also and the central level also, they give liberty and the freedom to each other. So if it is so, if it practiced such type of practices held in India, so sorry, we are going against the federalism. Okay, one has to remember the political party who is having the central level authority, they have to keep this thing in their mind. Although they belong whatever political party, and in states, so various states in India, they are having the different political, because it depends on what type of candidate win the election. Okay, so on the basis of that, state government formed in a different political party, okay, and central government is elect as a different political party. So at the same time, they have to remember this is a duty of central government, because it is more at a top level, that they shouldn't discriminate, they shouldn't use their power on the basis of any discriminating behavior, that they will favor only the state political party who are same to belong the same political party as they used to belong. They have to remember that they are the top level federalism political party, okay, and the state is also an independent political body, so we have to respect their decision as they are free in certain cases, okay, under federalism. They don't be partial on the basis of the same political party's relation. So in this manner that we should avoid this, okay, but it happens that they use their autonomous power. If they are different political party at the state level is different political. So if we do so, then we are not using the federalism in a fruitful manner. Getting my point? Now, all this changed significantly after 1990. It means such type of illegal practices was continued after the independence, and this pattern was changed in 1990. That now this period saw the rise of regional political parties in many states of the country. This was also the beginning of the era of coalition government at the center. Since no single party got a clear majority in the Lok Sabha, the major national party had to enter into an alliance with many parties, including several religious parties. So this pattern has changed totally in 1990. What had happened, beta? During the 1990, that not a single political party has shown its majority in the Lok Sabha. Individually, no political party has won the election on 50 seats in Lok Sabha. It means nobody is winner. So the and regional party also got some, you can say, votes by the people. So that's why their vote deducted. Getting my point? And in this manner, the coalition government was formed in India. That was first and the second political party who is having more votes, they link up combined political party, and the such type of political party is known as coalition government. Yeah, it is happened in India one time only. Yes. Excuse me. So it is a split that where the people are becoming more aware. They are not following the same pattern. There are only two political parties in India, Congress and BJP. No, if we are not satisfied, at least we can reduce our vote, okay, and then coalition government can form, where the other regional political party can also share some sort of power. Are you getting my point? So, because we cannot give the power to any political party just because that they are ancient and they are ruling party. We, the country people of India, are so much aware, the youth, that we know exactly that whom we have to give our valuable vote. Because if one time we are electing some people by a majority of vote, we have to face the person for 5 years. Only after 5 years you will decide to change him or her. Because at least 5 years, 10 years they are having. So that's why we have to be very much aware. You will be aware when you listen the news. Not only you listen the songs and movies, you have to listen the news of what is going around your country and around the world. What is all about Indian politics. Only then you can be able to use your vote by your own efforts and your own brain. Otherwise, no, sorry. Okay, and we need such type of youth. that made it? Who made this culture authentic? That who allowed that they can form a coalition government? Supreme Court. Okay. Now, Supreme Court made it difficult for the central government to dismiss the state government is an arbitrary matter. Thus, federal power sharing is more effective today than it was in the early years after the constitution came into force. Now, that's why that up to the 1990, now it has become more powerful and more, you can say, more authentic to favor the power sharing with the help of federalism. Okay, that we can establish the Indian democracy. We can give a good scope to every regional party also, and the coalition government was formed. That yes, they are also significant. Are you getting my point? This is all about Indian democracy and the system of federalism. So, if the question will be asked that suggest any three way or describe or explain the ways that how the federalism practiced in India, your answer will be so. Linguistic states, the help of linguistic states, then the language policy and the relation, state and center relation. So look, you have to understand how the matter has written in the book and how you will modify your answer. There are the simple sentences, then, but how you will twist it them according to the need of the question. What you actually understand by the content. This is more important. Okay, you revise or read the book, but you don't know that what you are reading and how it will be asked. That's why the reading of book is very necessary. Okay? Yes. Now, yes, decentralization in India. Very, very, very important. Because we are studying, the first chapter is power sharing, then we have studied the federal system of government, also applied by the Indian democracy, and now we are talking about not two levels of government. We need a third tier of government also to run the vast nation like India. In the decentralization of power, we are actually talking about the third tier of government. Okay, this is all about the decentralization in India. Now, yeah, I am just coming to the second paragraph. Okay. Yeah. When power is taken away from the central and the state government and given to the local government, it is called decentralization. That's it. What is decentralization of power? The second paragraph, first three lines. That when the power is taken away from the state and the which? The state and the central government. Okay, and given to the local government, this process is known as decentralization. Matlab, we are taking away some powers. But it doesn't mean that we are compromising with the powers of central and state government. It is not so. We are just shifting certain powers or decentralizing certain power to the lower level also. Because India is a vast country, we cannot hope good result of democracy or we can say good fruitful results of federalism just with the help of only central and state level government. We need a lower level government also. Okay, and this is known as this pattern that taken away of power from the central and state government and given to the local level, local bodies is known as decentralization. Understood? Don't forget it. Now I am talking about the need for this next paragraph. The need for decentralization was recognized in our constitution. It is also already given one measure in our Indian constitution. You can see that what we are doing. If we are a political figure, so where there is a need, I think there is a need to just to understand the situation. Okay, the demand, the new scientific achievement. Because there is so much of challenges because of the industrialization, the issues are different. Okay, but everything is already written in our Indian constitution. The need is only that who will give them the information, how they can, because that's why IAS, PCS, civil service servants have elected who study these things in a deep manner, and they appointed as a secretary of the chief and state minister. Getting my point? The minister can be anyone. The 10th pass guy. Okay? They are not high. It is not. You know the condition. Who can elect the election as a prime minister? You know that they have to be the citizen of India. There shouldn't be any illegal charge against them in the court. But there is nothing is written about their academic qualification. Then how they will know how they have to run the country? What are their political rights? What are their constitutional? Constitution is all about that. That's why this civil service examination has conducted on the top level, where the candidates who become the top officer, they appointed as a secretary, and they taught them. Now, that political figure should be enough smart, enough intelligent, on the basis of, but the experience also needs that they have to be very deep knowledge of Indian Constitution. Yes or no? Only then they can understand. And plus, very patriotic person. Patriotic. Who will always think in the favor of citizen. Because if we talk about Indian Constitution, every line of Indian Constitution, how much we have studied with the help of these headings, power sharing, democracy, the outcomes of the democracy, everywhere there is a role of constitutions. Everything is already written there. The need is only to inform the political figure that it is the rule and article, okay, that and you have to go with it. Then we require, then we are having the police secretary also, who are highly qualified. But then again we need an honest representative. Yes or no? We will always think for the welfare of the country people. लिख तो दिया है दिग्गजों ने कई साल पहले, आफ्टर द इंडिपेंडेंस 26 जनवरी 1950 हो भी गया, बट एक्चुअली उसको जिसने पढ़ना है, द पीपल आर आल्सो फाइटिंग द एग्जामिनेशन. आसान नहीं है उस देश को निकालना, उस एग्जामिनेशन को. बट देन अगेन द बिगेस्ट चैलेंज दैट whom they are teaching and who is having power, the form of prime minister and statement, they are really patriotic, they are really honest in the favor of country people. Otherwise they will remain in the constitution only. Yes or no? So this is all about, that is all about political science. Yes, political science, geography, it is so much, it is so good, it is so authentic to study them. There is not only that, only science and maths. No. If you study them, it's all about your country. It is all about that you have to live. What do you know about your as a citizen? What do you know about your country? How much freedom you are having? Exactly. It helps you to be a very aware citizen. And this is your subject. That's why don't take social study. Social study is very important, which help us to make ourselves as a good character. Okay. Getting my point? Don't take it as only a subject. It is just that how much you know about yourself as a citizen of India. Getting my point? ठीक है? तो we will